Unit 2, Lesson 5, Collaborative Learning and Opportunities for Reflection and Correction. In this lesson, we will look at what is collaborative learning and why it is required, what is reflective learning and why it is important, and how to encourage collaborative and reflective learning in your organisation. To encourage a holistic view of the organisation and to build relationships and trust, collaborative learning is required. Learning is a social process and many theorists have emphasised this, in particular Vygotsky and Bandu. Without interaction with a mentor, peer or tutor, our learning is limited. A learner might read a history book and learn a sequence of events such as what occurred during the Second World War. However, by speaking to survivors and people who experienced life during the war, they get an insight into everyday life and how people were impacted. In the context of problem-based learning and preparing the organisation, collaborative learning allows us to develop skills that we would not develop alone. There is more than one perspective on a situation. For example, you might have a particular way of doing your job that you think is efficient. However, you might go to your colleague to speak to them about an issue and notice they have different ways of doing things. You ask them why they do this in this way and learn that it saves more time, and you decide to adopt this way of doing the process. It also enables a systems thinking or holistic approach, as we covered in Lesson 3. And it also builds relationships and trust, as we already examined in Lesson 1. See this video resource for further study on collaborative learning. Reflective learning requires the learner to consider what they've learned, how they applied it, and if it was effective. Learners are aware of and control their own learning by actively participating in reflective thinking. This involves assessing what they know, what they need to know, and how they bridge that gap during learning situations. Reflective learning was advocated by John Dewey in 1916. Reflection is key to developing critical thinking skills. Reflective thinking is most important in prompting learning during complex problem-solving situations, as it allows students the opportunity to step back and think about how they solved the problems and the strategies they used to achieve their goal. Further reading is available at these websites. How to encourage collaboration and reflective learning. This might be done by getting people to work together and interact. This can be done through setting up group projects, meetings between departments, and setting up mentoring relationships. Also, asking individuals questions such as that identified in Lesson 2 that covered mental models. Questions such as what did you learn, how did you learn it, was it useful, and was your learning approach useful? Did you have enough to apply to the solution? Why and why not? Was the solution effective? Why was and why it was not? What further learning is required and how it can be applied again can help people to reflect on what they've learned. In the next lesson, we will examine how to encourage collaboration and reflection.